afternoon from the Alton Towers Resort, where you're watching Theme Park Worldwide. Now in 2024, Alton Towers actually brought back VIP experiences where you can walk up the lift hill of both Oblivion and also Wicker Man, and it was great to see that after an absence of a few years, they decided to bring these experiences back. These are upcharge experiences that can be done on an evening after the park closes, and there's certainly a demand for theme park enthusiasts like myself to see behind the scenes on various different rides. So I was really happy when this year Alton Towers announced that they have brought in a Nemesis behind the scenes experience. I just want to say a huge thank you to Alton Towers for inviting me down here tonight to come and check this new experience out. It only started last week and I'm really looking forward to it because Nemesis is one of my favourite coasters in the UK. It's a legendary ride, and without Nemesis I wouldn't be the theme park enthusiast that I am today. It's a special ride, a B&M inverted coaster that has operated here at Alton Towers since 1994. Obviously it was closed throughout 2023 for a full retrack and then reopened last year as Nemesis Reborn. 4 inversions on the ride and a John Wardley classic, it really is. And I'm excited to take you all behind the scenes here today at Alton Towers on this legendary ride. Now many years ago I did actually do a behind the scenes tour. We're going back maybe 15 years where they actually allowed us to walk up the lift hill, go into the tech bunker and see some other parts behind the scenes, and I was starting to think, are they ever going to bring anything like that back on Nemesis? They know that it's got a lot of fans and a lot of people love it. Well, they have done for this year. Now it's priced at £90 per person, but you do get quite a few things included in that. Firstly, you get to walk up to the top of the Nemesis lift hill. Now you might be thinking, oh, you know, it's not really that high, or you're not really going to get great views. Well, from what I remember when I last did it, even though it's been a long time, you do get some pretty good views looking out over the ride, especially at the first inversion from up there on the lift hill. So yeah, excited for that, and also looking down towards the loop and down into the pit. Along with that, you get exclusive access to the tech bunker, the transfer track, obviously at the end of the ride, and also the operator's cabin as well. And not only that, but also included in the experience is a one-shot fast track to use during the day of your experience on Nemesis Reborn. I'm about to just go and use mine now actually before it starts tonight. And along with that, you do also get an exclusive pin badge as well to say that you've done that experience. It's also worth pointing out that you also need to be the ride's height restriction to do this experience, which is 1.4 meters. Very much looking forward to this. Now, Alton Towers have stated in the terms and conditions that you're not actually allowed to film throughout the experience, but you can take photos of various different points throughout using a lanyard, and you basically put your phone in a secure pouch. So I'm really pleased that they kind of rectified that, especially after our Oblivion track walk that we did last year, which wasn't the best. It was the first one though. Luckily it did get a lot better after that, and even a week after we did the Wicker Man track walk and had a great experience, only a week after that Oblivion one. So it's good to see that they've brought in 2 new things for this year. It's not just the Nemesis behind the scenes, but also Hex, the Legend of the Towers as well, which will be brilliant. So they actually send over all of your fast track and the details via confirmation from the VIP team here at Alton Towers. And yeah, I've got my fast track now for Nemesis. I'm going to go and start off with a ride on here. And then we're meeting 45 minutes after park close. Park close today is 4 PM. So that does mean that the experience should start at 4:45. And there's a meeting point just round the corner. They've put a new sign up for this year, and I'll show you that in just a second. Right, I'm going to go on my ride on Nemesis Reborn, and then we'll get started with this behind the scenes experience. Very much looking forward to this on the legendary Nemesis Reborn. ride that I have on Nemesis Reborn is special to me, even though I've been on it literally thousands of times. It's an incredible coaster. It's the intensity, it's the elements, and it's the location what really makes this a very special ride here at Alton Towers. And yeah, especially when I'm in my favourite seats, which is back rides. Anyway, I'm down here now by the sign, and this is where I'll be meeting for the start of the VIP experience. It's right by the exit to the ride, by the monster itself. Here you can see they've put in this new signage for this year, behind the scenes VIP experience meeting point. Right, let's go, let the tour begin. So excited for this now. So 45 minutes after ride close, we all met there at the sign and we were greeted by the ride staff who've been working on Nemesis and throughout Forbidden Valley throughout the day. There was a few different ride staff that had come down, and there was a short introduction before we made our way down to the Nemesis Eye on the outside of the station. And that's where we had a bit more of a formal introduction. They told us a bit about their history working at the resort, as that was quite interesting. And then also as well a bit of information about what we would be expecting on the tour, the different areas that we would be going, and also some safety instructions as well. Now, along with that, we also had to just sign a little bit of paper just to say that we understood everything, and no horseplay, no messing around, anything like that. It's a serious thing going into ride areas and getting close to machinery like rides. So yeah, we wanted to sign just to make sure that we understood what was going on, which was perfectly fine. But from that point on, it was quite informal. We were having a few laughs and jokes, which was great. And they also had quite a few facts about Nemesis, the original ride, and also Nemesis Reborn to share for us. Yeah, we was out there for about 5 minutes or so, just getting that information and signing everything. We then made our way up into the station area for Nemesis, and they had some pouches waiting for us at the side. Now, all of our bags, cameras and anything like that had to be left in the baggage hold in the station, but we had the pouches for our mobile phone. They were provided by Alton Towers, and they were nice and clear, which was good, because obviously you do need to make sure you're putting your phone in that as we were making our way throughout the experience. We were also told that we were allowed to actually take video footage at certain points as well, which I was very pleased about. Originally, it was stated that it was photos only, but now I was very pleased that we were actually allowed to take some video footage, and you're going to be seeing that throughout this video as well. So yeah, that was a nice little bonus. Obviously, it had to be on our phones. You couldn't take GoPros or anything like that. It had to be on your phone. But yeah, I thought that was a nice little bonus that I wasn't expecting. After that, we then had to lock off on the ride. This is basically making sure that the ride isn't going to run whilst there's anyone in the ride area. Each of us had an individual padlock, and the member of staff actually locked it off for us on the console, on the operator's cabin, and we all had our own key just to make sure that no one was going to dispatch the ride or start messing about with the trains or anything like that whilst we were in the ride area. That's a standard procedure that anyone has to do at a theme park, to lock off just to make sure that it's perfectly safe and the ride's not going to start up and start running whilst there's anyone in the area. Right then, we were split into two groups at that point. I was in the first group that went up the lift hill. The other group started out on the brake run. And then we made our way out of the station after having a little look around there in the station. We came back to have a bit of a more detailed look later on, which I'll come into in just a moment. We stood at the bottom of the Nemesis lift hill. We had a nice photo opportunity. You can see my picture here, which was great, with the lift hill just behind. So that was cool. And then at that point, we then started to ascend up the lift hill itself. We could take photos and videos. We had to just stop when we were doing it. You weren't allowed to kind of do that as you were walking. You just had to make sure you were holding on. Because with Nemesis, there's no kind of attachment required or anything like that. You don't need to be, hooked on to the lift hill. You're literally just walking up the steps as you would do a normal staircase. Obviously, on a lot of rides, you do need to make sure that you're clipped on. Sometimes you have like a full harness, like when we did Oblivion. Sometimes it's just like round the waist, like on other rides. But yeah, with this one, there's no harness required at all to climb up the lift hill. So then we started making our way up, already getting some fantastic views. You went up the right-hand side of the lift hill on Nemesis. So straight away, you got a view of the zero-G roll, the loop as well, which is fantastic. That's stall, that turnaround, which was great. And that looked amazing, actually, from up there on the lift hill. And that's the thing, when you're going up the lift on Nemesis, as much as it's not a very high lift hill, you're mostly looking forward. You might just turn your head left or right a little bit. What you're not doing is fully looking back down the lift and proper out to the side, because you can't, because of the restraint. It's impossible to look backwards. So it was really cool looking straight down the lift. Got some really good shots, and you can see a mix of video footage and photos here. So that was awesome, actually, just getting the chance to get that footage and see all of that.
Along with that, some great views, the first inversion on Nemesis, the corkscrew, and also looking down towards Toxicator, the new ride for this year. You could see that from on there, which was cool. And along with that, just getting to look across and even see like Alton Village in the distance. Yeah, that was quite interesting, you know, just getting to see all of that. The views that you wouldn't normally see when you're facing forwards on the Nemesis lift hill. When we got to the top, we then had a great photo opportunity, and we all had the chance to do this. The member of staff took the photo for us, and that was like in that iconic John Wardley position. If you remember, like when it opened in 1994, John Wardley had a picture there. He also did with another designer, of course, for Nemesis Reborn back in 2024, last year when it opened. So it was great to get that photo opportunity there too, which we really enjoyed. Following on from that, we had about 10-15 minutes of just asking questions at the top of the lift hill, taking it all in. The whole thing was not rushed at all, which we were very pleased about. There was no kind of rushing around. You could take it in at your own pace and see it all, which was great. It was actually quite a climb up. You might think there's not much to it on Nemesis, but actually, you know, we were all like puffing and panting when we got to the top. You know, it was quite a climb up actually. It's still pretty steep when you're doing all them steps in one go. But yeah, lovely getting them views, looking back at the coaster, and also, yeah, just getting to see an angle what you wouldn't normally get to see, you know, when you're just going up the lift hill normally. So yeah, we had plenty of photo opportunities and video moments there before we started to make our way back down. Once we arrived at the bottom of the lift hill, it was our turn just to have a little look in the station. This was quite cool, just to stand in there without the train being parked in the station. Something that I really enjoyed seeing was actually having a look at where they installed the new heaters. This is something what Nemesis didn't used to have, and Nemesis Reborn was installed with them. We asked the question, you know, what temperature can Nemesis Reborn run in? 0 degrees was the answer to that one. And that's because they've got all the heaters in there now, which I found really fascinating. Obviously, that does mean if they wanted to, they could run Nemesis more in the winter. So that could be great in the future if they do look more into winter openings with Nemesis Reborn. But yeah, that was good to see. Close-up look at the air gates and all that as well inside the station. We then made our way underneath the station into the tech bunker. Now, this wasn't somewhere that we could take any photos or videos, unfortunately, but this was directly underneath like the air gates and the platform itself. In fact, there was an access point into the lowering platform, obviously in the station. That's underneath in this bunker. You've got a PC in there that's all like running the hardware and the computer software behind it. And along with that too, there were some other like cool components in there, like for example, all the AV equipment for the whole of Forbidden Valley, like all the amps and power for the speakers and all of that, and lighting, that was all in there. So that was quite interesting. They've actually got a carbon monoxide alarm because of obviously Nemesis was dug into the ground. They've even got that. We were told it's never gone off in the history of the ride, but they had to have it like just in case because of like how they've dug down into the ground. So that was quite fascinating. And also in there we got to see a little bit of old merchandise from original Nemesis and some new bits from Nemesis Reborn, and a bit of an archive in there, if you like, which is set up specially for this tour. I think that's why they didn't want us to take any photos and videos in there. They wanted it to be special for the people that are doing the tour. It's a shame they didn't allow it, but I can understand why as well. But that was really special, actually, just getting to see all that merchandise and have a little look. They've got like a timeline of Nemesis history on the wall with some old pictures and that sort of thing too. There was even some old wheels, some wheel bogies and other components that make up the ride that we could have a good look at and answer questions. That was the thing, you know, all the way through, there was opportunities to ask what we wanted question-wise, they would answer them, and there was no like rushing about, which I did really appreciate. Following on from that, we spent about 15 minutes in the tech bunker. We made our way back through the station into the brake run area here. Now, we couldn't walk all the way down the brake run, but you could walk kind of to the side and get some good views of the final inversion on Nemesis. So got some good unique angles of that. Looking back at the station building itself and getting to see all of that was great. And then also as well, we got to have a look at the front of the maintenance shed. You couldn't go in the maintenance shed on this tour, but you could see it from the front and get some cool shots with the train itself. So it was good to get some close-up footage of the Nemesis train. One was parked down the other end of the brake run. One was in the maintenance shed. So that was a cool, unique opportunity. You can have a little glimpse back into the maintenance shed, but we couldn't fully walk in and go all the way back down there. But it was cool to see like the magnetic braking on Nemesis Reborn, have a close-up look at that, and just getting some more different angles and photo opportunities in that area, which was great. Then we made our way into the station, where there was another chance to ask questions before having a little look at the operator's cabin from outside. I did think originally we were going to get to go inside it, maybe have a photo sat in the seat, but that wasn't the case. It was just a look through the window from the outside. You can see all our padlocks there from locking off on the console. But yeah, we couldn't take loads of photos and videos of that. It was more just kind of a wide shot. We couldn't go into the in-depth details of it all, but it was nice just to see it through the window. But I think it would have been even better if we could have gone inside. Even if we couldn't have filmed that bit, just to have gone in there would have been cool. I mean, I did that on the previous behind the scenes tour, but like I say, that was many years ago, and obviously a lot's changed since then, hasn't it? But no, it was good just to see that. We then obviously got the padlocks off, and that was the end of the experience. Well, left Alton Towers then now after an awesome Nemesis Reborn behind the scenes experience. Really enjoyed that, especially after going behind the scenes on original Nemesis. To do it on Reborn a number of years later was certainly a fantastic experience, and I very much enjoyed it. Overall, what I loved about it was the fact that we could take photos and videos. That was cool. Obviously, originally, I didn't think we could take video footage, so my face lit up when they said that. And along with that too, just being able to, go up the lift hill and take them iconic photos where John Wardley stood with the ride at the top of the lift was great. And that was obviously the highlight for me, going up the lift hill and getting to take in the views, looking back at Toxicator and just that overall area, which was fantastic from on the lift hill. I've got to say, the staff were all fantastic ever since the introduction at the start, all the way through the experience. We're having some laughs. It was quite informal. And yeah, everyone was just having an absolutely brilliant time taking it all in. Obviously, if you are booked onto this, you can take photos and videos. It wasn't just for us today. It was literally anyone can do that if you're booking onto this as well, which is fantastic. You can take a lot of pictures and videos anywhere other than in the bunker underneath. It's a shame about that, but I can understand why as well, because they want to keep that bit a little bit of a surprise down in there. But yeah, it was very interesting to see that. Obviously, seeing the station, getting up to the brake run area was cool. Being in the station without a train was just quite cool anyway, and I enjoyed that part of the experience. But overall, it was great. I very much enjoyed it. I liked how it wasn't too rushed, and everyone was just having a good time, taking it all in, and it was just a great experience. I think the price they're charging, it's £90. Obviously, that is quite expensive, but I do think if you've never done it before, it's definitely worth it, just to say that you've done it and get the photos and videos. Obviously, if they didn't allow photography, I'd say it's probably too expensive, but the fact they do, that's certainly worth it. You can capture your memories, and that's going to last a lifetime, isn't it, memories like that, especially if you love Alton Towers, love roller coasters and going behind the scenes. Then yeah, that is a brilliant experience to do. I think, it would have been even better if we could have took a few more pictures and stuff in the bunker, maybe gone in the operator's cabin and sat in the chair, and a full look around the maintenance shed would have been even better. But I'd say if you are doing this experience, it is definitely worth the price that they're charging, because there is a lot that you get to see and do. The whole thing was a couple of hours as well, which was fantastic. There was no kind of rush. The amount of Q&A opportunities throughout the whole thing was brilliant. And even if you wanted to just kind of nip in and ask a question as we were going round, you could do that. There was no pressure just to kind of wait until then points. It was very informal. You could answer ask all you wanted, and your question would get answered. And yeah, it was really interesting hearing about like the 0 degrees that it can run in with the new heaters. That was quite fascinating to hear. And just lots of other little things along the way, like the little alarm that they've got underneath because it was built underground, and yeah, all that sort of stuff. The proper geeky technical things, which was fantastic. And they put a lot of effort in. Last time I went in that bunker, it was a right mess in there. So they tidied that up quite a bit, and that was looking really good. It's like a bit of a Nemesis museum exclusive to the tour as well. Again, thank you to Alton Towers for gifting me the experience and inviting me down. Really do appreciate it. Going to be doing the Hex behind the scenes tour in a few weeks, so stay tuned for that. Looking forward to that experience. Obviously, we did Wicker Man and Oblivion last year as well. So yeah, getting around doing all these new VIP experiences and seeing what they're like. But yeah, getting up close and personal with Nemesis Reborn was brilliant, and I very much enjoyed the experience. The next series of vlogs coming up on the channel will be from the Netherlands, so make sure you stay tuned for all of those. We've got an action-packed series visiting lots of different theme parks, and the travel vlog will be coming up next. But that leaves me with one final thing to say. Get out there and keep on riding. See you in the next video.